The most important event of the year 1985 was the start of the so-called 844 system that had been announced by the Minister for Education, Professor Hilary Ng'weno, the previous year. Under the new system, primary school education would consist of 8 years, secondary school 4 years, and undergraduate university studies 4 years. It replaced the previous system, which had been in existence since independence, in which pupils spent 7 years in primary school, 6 years of O and A-level education in secondary school, and 3 years in undergraduate studies. The year saw the opening by President Daniel Arap Moi of the 200 million Kenya shillings new headquarters for the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, in Nairobi. On the political front, 1985 was the year KANU, the ruling and sole political party in the country, held its first national grassroots elections in a decade. The polls came after the party had conducted a national recruitment drive that saw its membership pass the 4 million mark. The elections conducted in June saw the ousting from the party's national executive of everyone except Moi, the party president, Mwai Kibaki, the party's and country's vice president, and Justice Ole Tipis, the party's national treasurer. Robert Matano, who had served as party secretary-general since 1969, was defeated by the MP for Lurambi and former Kenyan ambassador to the United Nations, Burudi Nabwera. 2 months later, Moi relieved Matano of his job as Minister for Information and Broadcasting. Matano was the second minister to be relieved of his cabinet post that year, the first having been Gilbert Kabere Mbijiwe, Minister for Health. To keep a regional balance in the government, Moi reappointed Mbijiwe's rival for Meru leadership, veteran freedom fighter Jackson Angaine. Another major appointment that Moi made that year was that of a new Chief Justice, Chunilal Madan, to take over from Sir Alfred Simpson, the last British judge to hold the post in Kenya. Madan became only the second Kenyan to head the judiciary, the first having been Maluki Kitili Mwendwa, who was appointed to the post back in 1968 by Kenya's first president, Jomo Kenyatta. In December, Nairobi was the venue of the signing of a peace accord between Uganda's head of state, General Tito Okello, and Yoweri Museveni, one of the leaders of the rebel forces who had ousted General Idi Amin from power back in 1979 with the help of Tanzanian troops. 2 months earlier, Tanzania's President Julius Nyerere had paid his last visit to Kenya before retiring and being succeeded by Ali Hassan Mwinyi. Elsewhere in international affairs, Nairobi hosted, in July that year, the first United Nations Women's Decade Conference that brought together hundreds of women leaders from all over the world to discuss development issues affecting women. A month later, Pope John Paul II paid a second visit to Kenya for the Eucharistic Congress, during which he conducted a public mass in Nairobi for hundreds of thousands of pilgrims from more than 50 countries. On the economic and business front, 1985 was the year Kenya Airways upgraded its fleet with 2 A310-300 Airbus planes bought at a cost of over $133 million. It was the year the Olkaria geothermal power station in Naivasha was commissioned, and the year Nairobi businessman Sadruddin Alibai acquired the motor vehicle distributor Marshalls East Africa from its British owners. But it was also the year Madhu Paper International paper manufacturing company in Thika, owned by Samuel Macharia, was put under receivership. In sports, 1985 saw Simeon Kipkemboi win a gold medal in the 200 meters race and John Ngugi gold in the 1500 meters at the African Championships held in Cairo, Egypt. That year, Kenyans said farewell to former Chief Justice Kitili Mwendwa, who died in a car accident along the Nairobi-Thika road, former local government minister Stanley Ole Tip-Tip, former Deputy Mayor of Nairobi, Chadwick Adongo, father of the former powerful Attorney General Charles Njonjo, ex-Senior Chief Josiah Njonjo, former MP for Gem, Horace Ongili Owiti, who was found murdered at his home, and the man whom he succeeded as MP and who was arrested for the murder, Agri Otieno Ambala, who died a few weeks later of a heart attack while in police custody awaiting trial.